Hello and welcome to the Sabrena and Ben Hour here on this beautiful Tuesday here on 1240 AM Hot News Talk Radio. I'm glad to have Mark with us today. He was feeling under the weather last week.
That's right, but I'm back in action.
I'm glad you are. The pollen had gotten to you, hadn't it, honey?
Oh, well, no kidding. Goodness.
Well, we are so...
It wasn't hard work with Sabrena.
No.
I mean, her making you work hard.
No, I'm used to that. It was the pollen that was the change.
Well, we are so honored to have with us today none other than Marty Haynes, who is currently the county commissioner for the District 3 area, and he just won the primary election for the Republican Party to be the next assessor of property. Thank you for taking the time to come in and visit with us today, Marty. I know you're busy.
We are all busy. I'm not the only one, but thanks for having me. This station is actually about 1,000 yards from where I grew up.
Wow.
Just over on Hamill Road. So yeah, it's not very far at all. So this is home.
This is in your district.
We're in District 3. We're in good old District 3.
We're glad to be over here supporting the Hickson community and spending our tax dollars.
We might even get lunch over here and try to generate little tax dollars.
Good.
For
That'd
you.
be good. We need all the revenue we can get. Of course, it all gets dispersed, but we need the market share coming to this side of the river. We don't need it all on your side of the
That's
river.
right.
So,
That's true. Well, Marty, it hadn't been that long ago since I ran my first political race, and it's amazing just the time and energy that goes into running a race. And I know that you're glad that the primary's over, and now you can look forward to August.
Well,
so I guess kind of tell us, it had to be different running a county-wide race versus a district race.
It is different. And obviously, like you, grew up in my home district, Hickson Middle Valley, where I ran for school board first and then the county commission. But when you start going county-wide, and it's a big county. And if it's in your home community, you kind of know where you're going and exactly who you need to see and how long it takes to get somewhere.
Exactly.
And if I'm going to Appleton or if I was going to Lookout Valley, you just had to plan just basic transportation or travel time. You had to plan a little differently and who you were going to see and how long to allot for everything. But running countywide is a full-time job.
So do you think it was more challenging to run countywide versus a district?
Yeah.
Wow.
In our districts, we know a lot of people. I mean, whether they're involved at the major churches or the schools or, at the youth leagues or whatever. So, you have a lot of built-in relationships, and, we all say that politics is all local. So you had that base to run from, at least in your own district. Well, obviously, I don't know a lot of people in East Ridge or maybe Ooltewah for that matter. Some folks, but it's just reaching out and trying to build relationships and trying to find folks that'll help you and be involved. And that's the tough part, is getting volunteers involved. Right. It's easy. I could have had an event in Hickson every week, but you want to branch out and go to different areas.
Yeah, it's a lot of hard work. People don't understand. And when you're the candidate, there's no way to describe it. They're really, you can't make anyone fully understand.
I've probably told you this, but everybody needs to see their name on the ballot at least once, just to get that, that feeling when you're actually there. You're going to vote for yourself, but you've worked to that point, and that is the most nervous 30 minutes. I've not had children. I mean, I have two adult sons, but I didn't bear the children. But other than them being born, that few minutes waiting on those results to come in, especially the early votes, and then the couple hours it takes to get them all in, that's some of the most anxious, because it's not so much that you worry about winning or losing at that point. You don't want to disappoint all the people that helped you and worked so hard for you, or donated money, or whatever they may have done. It's just, it's an overwhelming, and you've been there. You know what it's like to feel that.
One thing that I felt when I was running every day, I just wanted to go, because at the end, I knew at the end when it was election day that I wanted to be able to look back and say, absolutely, there's nothing else I could have done. Exactly. I did it all. Right. I turned over every stone that was possible. Yeah. And I ran the race.
Yeah. So, I remember primary night, March 1st, at the end of voting hours, it was 8:00, and I was standing out at the Harrison Ruritan Club. Yeah. I mean, it's dark. There's no lights, and there, maybe been 15 people coming in the last 10 or 15 minutes, and it's just pouring down rain, and I am soaked, and I'm like, okay, it's a good way to end, because I'm tired and I'm cold and I'm worn out. And,
probably sick at that point.
Exactly. And that's just that's the worst part is, you can tell by looking at me, you don't eat properly. No. I mean, you just, you grab something here or there, and you try to keep enough fluids in your body, and it's just, I mean, physically it's taxing, and you got to be prepared for that. But hopefully it'll carry forward into August. And we plan to take a couple of weeks off. Yeah, we took like Wednesday off because we had commission meeting that day and then went right back at it on Thursday.
Well, the beach is waiting on you in August, so hopefully you'll get to go.
Either way, I have a vacation plan starting August 10th. As soon as we hit the gavel at the commission that day, I'm leaving town to an undisclosed location, and no cell phone. I'm gonna have one of those little temporary mobile phones in case the family needs me. But other than that, I'll be gone for a week.
Well, I commend you on working hard. And something else that's impressed me is the other two candidates that you were running against in the primary. They both offered their support, showing a lot of class and asking voters to vote for you. That means a lot. That says a lot about the class.
It does.
Of each of the individuals.
Yeah, a lot of integrity, a lot of character from those guys. And you've been through a tough primary as well. And, your supporters get a little excited, overly excited sometimes, and you can't control
I had one like that.
Yeah. And you can't control what they put on Facebook, and you're like, oh, why do you want to do that? That's not, sure, we take different positions from our primary opponents, but basically, I mean, in your case and in mine too, we were all Republicans we all said sort of the same thing. We need to modernize the office. There are some things. It's not that the office is broken out at the assessor's office. We just need to, re-energize and not even refocus, but just get some modernization. There's some things with the website that we all agreed on. And, there were a couple of other things that maybe, some of the mapping systems that need to be looked at, and, how we can work better with county GIS, because we have a mapping department within county government, how we can work that and coordinate the two a little better than what has happened. And that's something we'll take a look at.
Well, and that kind of brings me into what I wanted to discuss next. Looking forward between now and August, kind of what your plan, and I know that you have a lot of vision, a lot of plans for the office once you get there, but kind of what's your plan between now and August?
Well, the plan is, campaigns take money. I mean, and that, people say that, gosh, I hate it, but that's the way it is. I mean, putting out all those signs, all the 4x4s and the yard signs, telling somebody that called me about they were running for the school board, and I said, those 4x4s, the sign, and then the post to put it up with, whether you use rebar or fence post, you're looking at $35 or $40 a piece. And when you start adding up 300 or 400 of those countywide, that turns into money. And then every time you print something and mail it, if you're going to mail something countywide, you're looking at roughly $9,000 or $10,000. That's a
lot of money.
And you do that 3 or 4 times. Next thing you know, you're going to need $60,000 to $80,000 easily. And so that's what we're focused on now is raising some money to be ready to go, because early voting will be here July 15th, which is not that far away.
Not far away.
When you take Memorial Day weekend out and you take the 4th of July and then you've got graduations and all the school carnival, there are things that occupy people's time, and a lot of people go on vacation right after school. But back to your point about Sterling Jeton and Randy Johnston, both of those guys have been great. You and I and Mark were at an event last week for a school board race, and Sterling said some kind things, and we've had lunch and we've exchanged a lot of text messages, and he's being extremely helpful. I can't say enough good things about he and Randy Johnston. Randy's reached out to some of his supporters, and as well, folks that supported Randy and Sterling are reaching out to me now. And so that's good.
That's great. And I love seeing that.
Yeah.
I think that's the way it should be. It's hard. You know, there's going to be one winner.
Right.
And it's hard. And the thing is, we have to, at the end of the day, remember we're all Republicans.
Yeah.
And we have to get behind the candidate.
And it's, it's tough at the local level because we live with each other. Nationally, you got the Trump and the Cruz supporters. Well, they don't necessarily, they live with each other locally.
That's true.
But for those of us in local office and local politics, we see each other on a pretty regular basis. And, so it's tough when you support somebody else and they don't win. And I remember Phil Smart soon after your primary at maybe your next fundraiser. I can't remember what the event was.
It was the very next one.
And, and that's a tough race to lose. To lose a local race and then to stand up and publicly support the person that won the primary. So,
he showed class.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you something. As a matter of fact, this evening he's bringing in a football star from Brigham Young this afternoon, and I'm taking a plaque down there, and I plan to brag on Phil.
Yeah.
Because this was all Phil's idea. And
well, you get to represent the county. He called me to represent the city since city council's having their meeting. And I said, so I get the city gig tonight. aggravated some of our friends that we have at the
But
city
it means
council.
a lot.
It does.
For them to show a class like that and
Exactly.
get behind you, because they invested a lot
Exactly.
and run into a lot of time, a lot of money, and so forth. So it's very, very, very encouraging to see that.
Well, and from that standpoint, in my primary race for the county commission, Mitch McClure is heavily involved at Dallas Bay Volunteer Fire Department, and had been past president of PTA over at Middle Valley, and we get along fine. I'm sure it's still frustrating to have not won that race back in 2012, but he's been more than helpful and been a good guy all the way through. I can't say enough good things about those kind of folks, the Phil Smarts and the Mitch McClures and Sterling and Randy.
And it's going to be an interesting process moving forward, because we assume and believe you're going to win in August.
Well, I don't get to assume that. I don't assume anything.
For granted. No, not at all. You can't. You got to run the race, but we're hopeful you're going to win in August. And believe that you will be, and then that's going to open up a spot on the county commission.
That will.
So that's kind of going to be an interesting process, because from what I understand, there's going to be a special caucus held in just your district.
Correct. Yeah. And we were at the same meeting when that was discussed. From a county Republican standpoint.
Explain what's going to happen.
Within because of the fact that, provided that I win in August, and then would leave the commission at the end of August 4th is the election day, and then would leave the commission at the end of August. There will be an opening within 120 days of a general election, which will be November the 8th. Exactly. I think is the date.
Exactly.
So by state law, there has to be a party caucus on both sides, both the Republican and the Democratic side. Each local party for District 3, Hickson, Middle Valley, Lakeside, and Big Ridge, will have a caucus and will nominate a candidate out of that caucus. So that person will have basically from the middle of September until they'll have about 6 weeks.
Yeah, because they'll be on the November ballot.
Yeah, be on the November ballot, on the presidential ballot.
And a Democrat.
Correct.
And so they've only got like a short time, about 6 weeks to campaign.
Roughly maybe 7, but not very much at all. So, you're right. It will be just the delegates that were seated at the county convention for each party in 2015.
Is that 35 delegates?
I think it's 35 out here, and we've had 2 move out of the district, so we're down, I think, now to maybe 33. Maybe so it will be just those folks that will nominate and then vote on the
show up to participate,
provided the commission. And I'm working to ensure that there's going to be an opening. We're not taking anything for granted. We've got a kickoff campaign, a general election kickoff next Friday night out in next door to your neighborhood. We're at Reunion neighborhood next Friday night, and then turn right around the next week and go to Signal Mountain, turn around the next week in Appleton, or maybe it's 2 weeks, and go come back to East Brainerd, and we go out to Ooltewah, out to Lookout Valley, and then we'll finish up at Hickson and Soddy Daisy. So we've got whatever number that is, 7.
Right.
7. Some are just really meet and greets, and some are true fundraisers.
And people that want to get to know you, they should come out to
exactly.
This is an opportunity to get to know you, ask you questions, find out what your vision is.
Yeah, and most of that is posted on our Facebook page, Marty Haynes for Assessor of Property. Make sure that's the right way we have it listed.
Yeah.
But you can go to Facebook, and they're they can call me. They can find the email address. They can shoot an email or call, whatever.
If they want to volunteer,
absolutely,
they can do that there, donate.
And that's the other good thing. The Johnston and Sterling Jaton, some of their volunteers, folks that were heavily involved in their campaign that, put some sweat equity into those campaigns have said, hey, where can we help? Where can we plug in? And several of those folks are coming next Friday night. So
that's really, really good. Yeah. So as far as the office itself, I assume, because I think the world of Mr. Bennett, who's ran the office, he's done a great job. He's going to leave big shoes to fill in. So,
there are a couple of things that he said maybe he'd like to see changed. And I said, well, you can go ahead and do that. And he said, no, I'll let the next guy get here. And he said, I'm planning on it being you. So, and that's the other thing. Bill Bennett, Claude Ramsey were the past 2 assessors. Claude in 1980 and Bill came on board in 1992. Both of them have reached out to me. I'll give them credit. They called me before I called them.
That's great.
And that means a lot to me that they took the time to reach out, because Sterling and I had no problem with that. He had worked for both of them, so it made sense that that's who they would support. And So it was, it's been good meetings, and they've been very helpful. And, a lot of folks, that in the business community particularly have reached out to me in the last few weeks.
Well, you have the right outlook too. And I want to point that out because you're being a big person. And, I did that in my race, Marty, because I understood, like with Phil Smart, for example, there was no question whether or not Phil Smart was a true Republican. He was one of the founders of the PAC.
Yeah, exactly.
And so in a primary,
right,
it's tough.
It is.
Those fellow Republicans, they're looking at all these Republican candidates and they're trying to think, who am I going to support?
Yeah.
Well, in my race, a lot of them supported Phil Smart just because of his long history with the Republican Party, and I understood that.
Right.
There's no point getting mad about it.
I expect people to support their friends.
Right.
I mean, and that's just life. And
but after that primary, it's time to get behind the candidate.
And I've talked to several folks, and I'm sure it's in your business as well in real estate for you and Mark. Yeah. You don't sell every house. You don't get to sell to everybody that puts their house on the market. And likewise, in my business, I sell products that are used in equipment to clean things. I mean, it's cleaning metal.
Sandblasting.
Yeah, sandblasting. Basically, it's like pressure washer, except we're adding an abrasive to it. And I'm most likely going to get to sell my customers, continue to sell them the abrasive that's used, but I don't always get to sell them the equipment. And I can't hold a grudge because they didn't buy the equipment, because there's a 99% chance I'm going to put the abrasive in that equipment. So business wise, you just don't get to hold a grudge. It just doesn't serve you well to do that.
That's true, and that's a good analogy. Well, let's say, okay, August is here. You win the general election.
Right.
What are your plans for the assessor office once elected?
Well, and that's a good thing, because you go into the reassessment next year. So provided we're successful in August and take office, you take office September 1st. I think the swearing in, they're planning for sometime that morning on September 1st. The office out there is already in the process of planning and being prepared for the reassessment period next year. You're going to find out real quick in the office who's going to work hard, because there are a lot of hours, and there'll be a lot of it'll be learning on the job, and I don't make no bones about that. Randy and Sterling both have worked in that office.
Yeah.
But again, it's managing people and being involved with the taxpayers and the citizens. And those are the things. Is next year's going to be, I don't know what the reassessment's going to look like. We've had a lot of growth to go, and that's it. I don't know whether 4 years is the right number, but that's the number that we use now. Some have have talked about making it less, making it every 2 years. I don't know that that's feasible, because that's a lot of man hours that go involved out there. And that's the one thing I've heard from folks when we were knocking on doors is, in most cases, they want government out of their lives as much as possible. But when it comes to this office, we want that hands-on. We want you to come, physically look at our house, and not just to drive by and, that's.
And the accessibility.
Exactly.
I think is important.
And that's some of the things that we want to do. And no disrespect, I want to be careful how I say this. Mr. Bennett is retiring. And, I want to be more accessible, much like we do on the commission, be involved and have some, I don't know, the public meetings, but be available to do some radio and to be as many luncheons and breakfast and things that you can get to out of the office. Just do it the way we're used to doing our jobs on the county commission.
Well, that office is very important to the real estate industry.
It is.
And that's one reason I want to have you on today, because you can just about tie back anything to the real estate industry. It's such an important industry. And one thing I would like to see too is that we data share better between the real estate community here locally and the assessor's office. One example is square footage.
Yes.
That's hardly ever accurate. And I'm not going to go measure a house, because that's outside my scope of limits.
Right.
And I don't want to act like I know how to go out and measure. I mean, it's about a lot more than just putting a tape across the room and getting a measurement, because there's requirements on ceiling height and everything.
Well, and that's one of the things that I've met with the local association, and as you and Mark know, I have a real estate license. I haven't sold anything, haven't listed anything, but I did it to have access to the association. I know you were at an event for the schools last night. Well, I took that opportunity to go out to the Realtors Association. They had their Habitat for Humanity fundraiser, and got to talk to folks. I mean, literally talk to them like we're doing today about what's going on in the real estate market and what they see. Some of those that have been around for a couple of days and have seen changes in our market here. And that's one thing that, provided I'm successful in August, the Realtors Association I will have a presence with them. I'll continue to keep my membership up. I don't know how I go about that. You can explain that to me at a later date, or somebody can out there, because I don't want to list any homes. I don't want to sell any homes.
They'll take your money.
That's what I figured.
They'll renew your membership.
They'll be glad to.
Yes, somebody asked me the other day about playing in a charity golf tournament sometime in the next couple of months, and they said, it's filling up. I said, I bet if I show up with a check for a charity on the day of the tournament, they'll pretty much they'll make room for you.
Put a golf club in your hand.
Exactly right. They'll find a spot for you. So, but that's it. To have that interaction between the Realtors Association and maybe not every realtor, but at least the board of directors and what's going on in the association, and just be abreast of the changes that y'all see. And I know that the realtors do a lot of training, a lot more than people think. I mean, this is not just folks that are in the real estate profession these days. I mean, that is a profession. It is something that there's a lot more training than what most folks realize. And so I want to be active with them and continue to keep, and improve the lines of communication and find out where we can help. And as you say, share data and information.
I think that's important. That should be easy.
Exactly. And it should be.
And the real estate industry, I mean, it just evolves every year. And we've always got new RESPA guidelines and stuff that we have to adhere to.
Well, and something that we're familiar with is zoning at the county commission.
Absolutely.
I think there were 28, it was either 28 or 38 applications yesterday at the Regional Planning Commission for zoning.
That's unbelievable.
And I think the next month, in May, it's even more than that. I talked to the RPA, Regional Planning Agency, and May is even heavier than what yesterday was. So, and all that, like you said, it affects everybody. Whether you own property or you live in an apartment, somebody owns that property and is paying an assessed value, paying taxes on that assessed value.
Well, for anyone that's listening today that they haven't had the privilege and the pleasure of meeting Marty Haynes, tell us about this next event you're having on. Is that April 22nd?
April 22nd, 6 o'clock. It's at
Friday
night at the Reunion Clubhouse, and that is on Morris Road.
Yes, that's right. Morris Lane.
Morris Lane.
Yeah,
I don't know the
that's
exact.
Right. It's by the Publix.
Next door, before you get to Publix, take a right, go down Morris Lane. We'll be there at 6 o'clock till about 8 o'clock. If folks want to make a contribution, we always put a price on there just so folks, but they don't. There's not a contribution required that night. If you want to show up, we'd love to have. And it looks like we're going to have a pretty good crowd that night. We're worried now about space and availability. But we'll
Publix parking lot or something if we have to.
If they show up with a check, you'll make room.
Exactly right. Just like we said we'll make a lot of room if they want to. We'll do that. Maybe we'll rent the parking spots for I don't know, but.
Thank you for being here, Marty.
Thank you very much.
You've been great, and I just appreciate you for taking the time to stop by.
Thanks to you and Mark. I know how much time and effort you put in on the commission, so thanks for all your efforts there.
Oh, yeah. It's my pleasure.
See you in the morning.
My pleasure. This is important, and I will see you in the morning at our commission meeting as we make those very important decisions for Hamilton County residents. For anyone thinking about buying a home or selling a home, this is Sabrena Realty. Please call us at 423-499-7780. That's 499-7780. Or visit our website at SabrenaRealty.com and join us here after the break. We'll be back shortly.